Hi, welcome back to my channel. 3 hidden triggers that are sabotaging your financial decisions. Does spending money, even on things you need, stress you out or bring on a full panic attack? It's not just your budget, it's your brain. Today I'm sharing 3 possible triggers that hijack your emotions, sabotage your decision, and make money feel way scarier than it has to be. Hi, I'm Sandy. Well, it's finally getting nice in Wisconsin, and I have had some plumbing issues that I could put off because the one issue, I'll put it here, is bad. So obviously I knew it was going to cost a lot of money to address it, and trying to find somebody alone, if you don't have your favorite plumber or favorite mechanic or favorite service provider, it can be a scary process alone. So I've been trying for a couple months now, actually over a month, to find somebody that would actually give me a quote. So I finally found a great company that I felt really positive about. They have a great process. It seems, I always like the checks and balances, and anything that costs a lot of money, if possible, I always like to find companies that have great checks and balances. And this one does. So regarding the plumbing, I only had 2 concerns. I wanted my hose outside faucet to work because that one was kind of leaking if we had Wisconsin problems. There's like a on-off. You have to turn it off when it's cold out. I guess maybe they're just going to do something different now. I don't know. But back in the day, for the pipes outside, like the one outside pipe, we have to turn an inside one off so there's no water going to it. At least in my old house, it's time to get it addressed. However, when you have to change that main stack in the picture that I have, everything goes to it. So it's going to cost a lot of money if a lot of the stuff isn't, they have to redo almost the whole thing at that point. Not the whole thing, but it's just easier, less leaks. I get that. Then you never know. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I grew up. Maybe it's the fact that every time I made a decision with a big financial decision, somehow my parents got wind of it, and it always ended up being to do it a different way, to do it a cheaper way, to do it, you shouldn't have to spend that much money on something like that. So that brings me to my first hidden trigger. Childhood wounds regarding money. Not only childhood, but even after I got married. It's just your parents' perception of money, and there's just so many things that tie into that. Financial abuse. I have a financial abuse, I'll link it here, video. All those different situations and encounters all add to financial freakouts. So understanding that and the things that are attached with that. Other people's junk, the paranoia, besides the fact of it shouldn't cost that much, or you're gonna get taken advantage of, or all these different messages. I couldn't figure out why I felt paranoid about that this guy is gonna take me for all that I have. They're not really truly doing that. Maybe some people are out there that do that, but having that energy and trying to find the cheapest and all these different things brought more of that energy. So taking a step back, having the money to pay for a company that aligns with the energy that I have has been illuminating. So that brought up the fact, I'm like, why am I feeling panicked? I'm not, the whole process so far was so great. The guy was fine. Granted, he was looking at more things than what I wanted fixed, but that main stack, he's the professional. That main stack has to go to other things, so he has to make sure and address all those things to do his job. So one of the ways I've been unpacking and trying to fix this belief has to do around abundantly living, but not in excess, but living abundantly. So that's what's been helping me to focus on spending so much money on this plumbing issue. It's an investment in the house. Other people every single day spend money like this for this exact problem. So instead of trying to make shortcuts and figuring out ways that I can make it cheaper, I can just sit in the peace and serenity of letting a professional do the entire job and getting paid well for it. Everyone wins. Granted, I don't have anything flashy to show off besides my new PVC plumbing, but I'm just going to put it out in the universe that it will reflect in the quality of the house being maintained when I sell it. Because I think there's also, on the flip side of that too, I think there's also stuck energy when we don't, money is energy. So when we don't let the money flow where it's supposed to go, I think that causes other issues to come up in our life, to be able to get past that. For example, another little side story. My mom could benefit from a walk-in shower. She could benefit from that. It's not necessarily a fancy luxury, but where she's at in her life, it could bring joy to her life. But my dad doesn't want to spend the $12,000 to get a new surround put in and have it all fixed up because he could do it himself. Just because we can do things ourselves, that's not necessarily living abundantly. If we have the money to do such beautiful things to increase our quality of life, so circling back to my current plumbing issue, I decided that instead of that I'm gonna hold those childhood coping skills or the things that I was taught or whatever you want to call them, I'm gonna just choose to focus on abundance. So my second trigger that I found hidden in this situation was not feeling heard. Let me explain more about that. So not feeling heard can also be feeling like you're going to do it wrong. So in feeling like you're going to do it wrong and everybody's giving you suggestions of you could do it cheaper, if you could do it this way, you could find somebody else, not necessarily a bigger, fancier company or a handyman or something, you could do it this way or that way. They all have different energies. And this one, I've had it in the past where I've done it that way. I've had my dad do it, which was really not great energy. I've had a lower budget person do it, and it went sideways on me, and the energy was never aligned. So thankfully this time, in the abundant thinking of it, I found somebody that had a higher rating on Google. They have almost 5-star rating on Google, and their process seems fantastic to me. They communicate, they're clear on what they're going to do. I don't know. I just wanted connection, honestly. That's always been, my heart's always been, that's why I'm doing these videos, is for connection. It's always been connection. I guess sometimes people classify that as validation. I don't know. But I always met with, you're doing it wrong. So if that's you and you don't have the support system either, and I'm making a community, I have a link below to my Facebook group. It's a private group. It's a free private group so that we can navigate and celebrate and cheerlead each other on. So if anybody else is feeling afraid of a big financial decision, that you can feel like other people have your back and not that you're wrong or have to be perfect. Which leads me to my next trigger, feeling like you have to be perfect. I know that's one of the things that I'm still wrestling out. I have a plan and I have a backup plan, and it's totally fine either way, but I want to be able to hold on to my money for as long as possible and earn interest on my money. So I have to keep reminding myself that there's no wrong way that I can do this, that I'm doing what before me is necessary to continue to do the things I want to do. That pipe isn't gonna last. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but it doesn't look good. And it wasn't really easy for me to get a plumber in the first place. So I don't want to have, that's like the main sewage pipe. I really don't want to have sewage all in my basement. That could lead to other issues. So I have the money right now to address it. I have an appointment for somebody professionally to do it, and the energy is right. It seems like that's the next step. So I might make 100 mistakes in between now and when it's all finished. But I don't have to make it perfect, and neither do you. So sometimes perfectionism or doing it right leads us to stress out and get triggered. So my overall takeaway from all of these different things that sound somewhat similar have been that I'm just going to focus on abundance. So I want to share that with you. Focusing on abundance and matching energy as much as possible, I think, is the key to reduce the triggers and have a better experience. I know that having less money can feel like financial instability, and that's scary. That's a scary feeling. I want to leave you with this encouragement. Take the time. If any of this resonated, take the time and step back and name what's going on. When I did with the parent, I felt slightly paranoid. Not like I had in the past, but I had known that I had done it in the past. I had those feelings in the past. And then I realized in that moment that paranoia was never mine. I learned that dealing with my dad since he disowned me. There were several times where he felt like I was stealing money, when that is not who I am. That is not my character. And if he ever took 2 minutes to ever actually get to know me, that thought would have never crossed his mind. But I'm at peace and secure in the fact that I know that was never me. That was his paranoia. So when that paranoia came in, I could look at it from an outside perspective and go, this isn't mine. This has never been mine. This paranoia isn't mine. And the fact that I could see it in my dad, I could see where it came from. So now I don't have to be paranoid, because it was never mine to begin with. So that's an example of what I'm saying. Take a couple minutes and just stand back and say out loud what is going on. Write it out. Open a document up and see if you can auto-dictate and just say it all and then reread it later. Those things help. Or I don't want to say stay busy in a busy sense, but if your brain wants to ruminate on it, this specific day when I had talked to the plumber and they gave me the big total of how much it was going to be, I was so busy doing schoolwork. I had deadlines and I couldn't sit there and ruminate on it. So by the time I got to bed, that was another story, but then I could focus on the abundance. Focus on the fact that this is an energetic match and it is a lot of work. They're going to end up there. I do have 3 plumbing issues. One of them, I was just going to wait until we had to move and then fix it as much as I could. But he's going to fix it all. All of it's going to get done at once. I get to enjoy it and not just fix it for somebody else. And it'll be all done. It's not going to cost me any dirty emotional feelings. Listened to Natalie Huffman, and she was the one that first explained to me dirty pain and clean pain. And this is all going to be like clean stress. It's going to be clean stress. Clean stress is healthy. Dirty stress and dirty pain is not. If you want to hear more about the dirty pain or clean pain or anything like that, type in dirty in the comments. If you would just like somebody to come alongside you and you don't want to be in the private group on Facebook, if you want to book a call with me, my discovery link is below. We can continue the conversation and see if our energies match. For more videos on financial abuse, click here. To binge watch some other videos, check out these.